most of the attention goes towards the 1982 penny with its multiple transitional errors and the like, we shouldn't forget that the 1983 penny also has some interesting varieties to look for, some even worth big money, and the best part is that they can still be found in your pocket change. Starting at the more minor varieties and then working our way up towards the true superstars, we discover a double die obverse coin from the Philadelphia Mint. I find it peculiar that apparently not too many collectors or even coin roll hunters appear to be aware of this variety. On this coin, the letters of "In God We Trust" are doubled towards their left as a result of the clockwise rotation that occurred during the Class 5 doubling event. The doubling on the letters of "In God" are naturally then slightly more pronounced when compared to the "We Trust" section, due to it being further away from the pivot point on this particular coin, which occurred around the 3 o'clock mark. Furthermore, Liberty is also slightly doubled. This can be best noticed on the horizontal positions of the L, as well as the corresponding elements on the B, E, and R sections as well. In 2018, a coin like this with a grade of MS67 Red from PCGS was sold at auction for the amount of $630. And then the second double die obverse coin for 1983 is again the result of pivoted hub doubling, but this time around the coin has no doubling on the letters of "In God We Trust," and doubling here is instead concentrated mostly on Liberty and the date. Looking first at Liberty, we see the slight doubling that can be best noticed on the inside cavities of the letters B and R. This, along with the minor notching on the lower left corners of all of the letters. And then the date is characterized mainly by separation lines along the top curls of the 9, the 8, as well as the 3, with the tail of the 3 being thicker than it normally should be, and then a slight split in the tail of the 9 as well. Then, while it is by no means an absolute diagnostic feature for this particular variety, it is interesting to note, however, that the emission sequence for this particular coin can be broadly determined by studying the die characteristics of the reverse of the coin, where a die was employed that suffered from progressively more severe die cracks as the sequence advanced, and then was ultimately replaced with a fresh die altogether in the final stages. This is most commonly seen on the base of the Lincoln Memorial, both on the left and on the right facing sides, extending all the way towards the rim. And then on some coins, but not all, there is a die crack extending through the D in United diagonally all the way across to the roof of the building. 2019 saw the sale of just such a coin in a PCGS slab, and the grade of MS66 Red for $516. And from there, let's take a look at the most prominent of the double die obverse varieties for this particular issue. On this variety, the doubling again appears on the letters of "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," but the doubling is far stronger than in the first example. Here, again, the doubling displays towards the left of the letters, but is noticeably stronger than before. The doubling on Liberty this time around is shifting towards the southwest, with the letters of B, E, and R are again the easiest place to first notice the doubling, although every letter is affected in the same manner. I should mention that there is some minor doubling on the date as well for this variety, displaying almost due west here. In 2013, a PCGS graded MS65 Red coin like this was sold at auction for $440. And that basically covers the obverse side of the coin, so then let's take a look at the reverse from there. And there are two main varieties of note in this case. In the first, the more minor of the two varieties, a slight counterclockwise rotation took place between two squeezings of the hub. The result is minor doubling on the reverse inscription. The letters of United States of America are doubled the strongest on United, and then fades progressively as you move further towards the right side of the coin. Correspondingly so, the O of 1 is doubled far stronger than most of the letters of cent would be. And then finally, the very minor separation lines can also be seen on the letters of E pluribus unum. Well, although the words united and one should be your main concern when searching for this particular variety. An MS65 red-brown example of this particular coin graded by PCGS was sold in 2019 for $225. Then finally we reach what is arguably the best-known variety coin for 1983, and easily the strongest double-die reverse variety for the Lincoln series as a whole. Unlike every other coin on this list, to this point, this coin is not the result of class 5 or pivoted hub doubling, but rather this variety resulted from offset hub doubling where the die shifted directly north, leaving very strong doubling due south on virtually every last element of the reverse design for this coin, including the letters of United States of America, E pluribus unum, including almost complete separation on the dots separating the words on this particular section. The denomination of 1 cent is also doubled in this same manner, and is likely the place, due to the sheer size in comparison to the rest of the letters, where you will spot the doubling first on this particular coin if you happen to come across one. The designer's initials of FG are not spared and receive similar doubling as well. And then elements of the memorial building are also doubled directly to the south. The foundation or the base of the memorial is where you would notice this effect to be the most prominent. However, the capital or the head of the columns are doubled in a seemingly triangular manner as well. The entablature is doubled slightly towards the bottom where it meets the columns, but far more dramatically so towards the top, where it forms a pronounced double lip. And then finally, the decorative elements of the roof are all doubled to the south as well, making it appear somewhat larger than it really should be on a normal coin. Due to the strong doubling and its inclusion in the Red Book, this variety is extremely popular, and in 2017, a PCGS graded MS68 Red coin was sold at auction for $7,050. Heading over to the Denver Mint for a short detour, we can then look at one of the most enigmatic varieties for 1983. This is the 1983 D double die obverse, or what can also be called the 1983 D double ear variety. Not to be confused with the far more noteworthy double ear penny from 1984. This coin was the result of the very rare class 8 or tilted hub doubling. The coin is extremely difficult to get a hold of, but the doubling does take the form of what is seemingly an additional or extra earlobe towards the south. There also appears to be a die crack running diagonally across Lincoln's hair to look out for. A rare example of this variety coin appeared at auction in January of 2020 in a PCGS slab with the grade of MS65 Red, where it sold for $1,762.50. And since we appear to be veering off slightly into the more bizarre varieties, why not just keep going, because things do start to get really interesting from this point on out. So back to the Philadelphia Mint then for what was almost a near catastrophic breakdown in the minting process that resulted in this counterclashed coin. What we have here is a 1983 penny, a Type 2 counterclash that also suffers from a spectacular die break resulting in a massive cud on the reverse. But let's examine the obverse first. You can see that the first counterclash on Liberty almost looks like doubling, to be honest. On the I, the B, the E, and the R, towards the southwest, which is paired, at least on the examples that I've had the privilege of seeing, with a semicircular line through the eye in Liberty. The second clash mark then appears in a diagonal orientation above the 1 and the 9 of the date, and are the same I, B, and E from Liberty, this time in an inverted position. There is also a massive void just above Lincoln's head where the odd we section of In God We Trust should be. This corresponds naturally with the position of the die break or the cud on the reverse side of the coin. Very few of these coins have been located, and values are estimated anywhere between $50 and $500, depending on the grade of the coin. And then just one more for good measure. This coin is not a variety as such, but rather a notable error that I feel warrants inclusion all the same. What we have is a 1983 Transitional era coin, as the US Mint started minting pennies in zinc with only a small copper coating in 1982 as a cost-saving measure. All pennies minted in 1983 and onwards to this very day should by rights be of this composition and not the older copper coins. But this coin was accidentally still minted on the older copper planchets, as indicated by the heavier 3.1 gram weight and not the 2.5 gram weight of the newer zinc core coins. PCGS graded this era coin as MS62 Red Brown, and it sold at auction in 2013 for $23,500. Is there another date perhaps that you would like me to do a similar deep dive type video on? If so, let me know in the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe to WNN and activate notifications with the bell icon so you'll know when new videos are released. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you ever so much for watching, stay safe out there, but keep collecting and have a fantastic day.